Hello and welcome to the tutorial video for Google Meets. So Google Meet is the video conferencing app for Google, and this video is going to not only show what Google Meet is, but how to use it within some of the other Google apps that we commonly use as teachers and educators. So to go to the main Google Meet page, you need to go to the 9.Google app drop-down menu from the main Google page and select Meet. It's a similar icon to Chat, except instead of the @ symbol, it has a picture of a video camera. So when you click on that, it's going to open up your main page. If you've already accepted or been invited to future Google Meet meetings, they will be listed underneath this main bar right here. I don't have anything scheduled, which is why it says that. If I wanted to join an existing meeting and I've been given the nickname or the meeting code, I can enter it in here. Or if I just want to start a meeting right now, I can either leave this blank to just make a random meeting, or if I wanted to give it a nickname for other people to join, I could do that. So let's say I have a meeting Monday morning right now. So I'm going to click continue, and from here it's going to open up the kind of entry page, if you will, for Google Meets. Now, because I already have my video camera being used for this film, it will not show up right here. But if I wasn't already using my camera, I would be able to test my microphone and my camera and be able to see what I will look like when I enter the meeting. So whatever you see right here is kind of a test, if you will. Once you have your either camera on or off, your mic on or off and your camera on or off, you then get to join the meeting. If there's already other people in the meeting, it will tell you so right here. And whenever you're ready, you would just select Join Now. And now again, I can't actually have the video working because I'm already using it, but this is the general display for Google Meet when you are in the middle of a video chat. At the bottom are the three main basic controls. You can mute yourself, you can turn on and off your camera, or you could end the call. On the right hand side, so let me move myself. If you need to turn on the captions, a lot of my students use this, especially if during video conferencing their internet isn't very strong, and so sometimes the video or sound can skip. If they have the captions on, it helps them better gauge what you're saying. Just keep in mind, they're in no way perfect, and when you speak quickly, it's more challenging for the captions to catch what you're saying. So if you speak slowly and clearly, the captions will work better. So you can turn that on or off. As you can see, it's working at the bottom here. It's doing a pretty decent job, but it's just important that you speak slowly and clearly. But this is a great feature of Google Meet. I can also present my screen, just like in any other video conferencing app. They give you the option to either print an entire screen, so everything on your screen. This is nice if you have multiple screens. You can only present one and then still work on other ones during a meeting. You can only present a specific window. I like to do this a lot when I have multiple classes back to back. I can prep within one window while the other one is still being shared to the current students in my class. And actually, if you use Chrome as your browser, you can only share one tab, which also can be helpful too. So there's multiple different options here. Up at the top, you can click on the first option here, and that will drop down all of the people that are within your current meeting if you had more than one. There is an overall chat to everybody, but you can only chat to everybody. You cannot send individual messages to people within Google Meet. And once you have multiple participants, there is the, you can mute and you can remove people. But I want to point out, unlike Zoom, which is another very common conferencing app, you cannot force mute. Meaning you can mute somebody if you are the owner of the meeting, but they can always unmute themselves. So keep that in mind with students. Similarly, you can remove people from the meeting, but there's nothing preventing them from just joining back in again. So keep that one in mind as well when you're trying to decide between Google Meet and Zoom. So these are just the very basic functions of Google Meet, and I can also, on the left-hand side here, you have it'll be a random letters and numbers if you left it blank, or I gave it a name. And from here, I can copy the join information and send it out in an email or another way to invite other people to my meeting. So that's just the general overview for how to use Google Meet. So I'm going to exit out of this, and I'm going to now jump over to show how Google Meet can be used within other Google apps. And the first one I'm going to look at is Google Classroom, because most likely if you are a teacher or an educator and you are interested in the Google apps, you are probably going to use Google Classroom. So I'm going to go back to Google so that way I can jump to my Google Classroom from my drop-down menu here. Mine's at the bottom. There is the Classroom. If you need more help on Google Classroom, I do have a video back at the Google Zone that you can jump over to. But I just want to show how to embed or link Google Meets within Google Classroom. So I'm going to open up my Classroom here. And right here is a Meet link. Now, right now I have it hidden. That's why there's a picture of an eye with a slash through it, meaning that when students join my Google Classroom, they cannot see that link. But if you meet regularly with your students through video chat and you're interested in using Google Meets as your platform for that, it's really great to have the link embedded within the Google Classroom. So I can show you how to set this up. So you're going to go over to Settings. That's the gear image here in the upper right hand corner. And I'm going to scroll down until I see Google Meet. Now I want to preface right now, I am not 100% sure, but I do believe your school has to be signed up for a Google Suite account in order to have Google Meets embedded in Classroom. So if you get to this point on your Classroom and this option is not here, that's probably why. Now you can always copy the information like I was showing you earlier and then just submit it or post it within your Google Classroom. That works just fine too. But if you're using a Google Suite, this feature is kind of nice. So it automatically generates a Google Meet link for me. I can click that and always reset it. Sometimes I do this from time to time just to make sure students are, I guess you could say, being aware of clicking the right links. So if you ever need to reset it, you can just click reset and it will automatically generate a new one. As you can see, the letters and numbers changed. I can copy it, and that will allow me to either open up a new window, paste, and join that Google Meet. And then I can make it visible. So when I click that and I save what I just did, we'll see here we're going to go back to our Google Stream, and now at the top here it says the same thing, Meet link, but notice there is no more image of a eye with a line through it. That means this link is visible to students. And it is helpful because then when my students are coming to my class, most likely the first thing that they're going to do is open up Google Classroom. And then from here, they can just click the link to join our class. You don't have to worry about making sure you sent out the invitation ahead of time or making sure that the students have the right code. As you can see, this is just random letters and numbers. So having it embedded within the Google Classroom is really nice. So that way, any student that has already been added to my classroom can just click Stream, and it's right there embedded within Google Classroom. So that's a great way also to kind of help with the privacy issue. That way, in theory, nobody should be able to have this link unless they are already a member of your Google Classroom, because then they can have access to it. So that may be a good way to use Google Meet within Google Classroom. The other way that Google Meet is embedded within an app is Calendar. So I'm going to switch over here to Calendar, and if you are not familiar with Google Calendar, there is a separate video in my Google Zone for Calendar that I recommend you go look at, but I'm going to show how to use Google Meet within Google Calendar. And most likely this is the way that you would be scheduling future events or future meetings or ones that occur regularly. So let's say I have a meeting tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock, and because we're doing distance learning, or maybe I'm meeting with people that I can't physically get together with, I can simply create that meeting. So like I was using my Monday morning meeting idea. And notice as I'm making an event already, there is an option here to add Google Meet video conferencing. Now, I already have that set up as an extension added. You may not, which is okay. I will show you how to add Google Meets if you do not have this button. So I'm going to go ahead and click more options just to open up all of our choices here. But as you can see, I have Google Meets already embedded within Google Classroom. I can just click on this and it is automatically generating a new link for the specific meeting. Now as I add guests to this meeting, it's not only going to show up on their calendar, but they can open up the event and simply click the link to join. So I'm just going to leave it all like this for now. I'm going to save. I now have it on my calendar as a meeting tomorrow at 11. I could invite, and again, I go into more detail on this in the Google Classroom video, but I could add guests. And now when I click on it, the button simply says join with Google Meets, and it would put me in connection with whoever else I invited to this meeting. But let's say you don't have this option, which is fine. So I'm going to temporarily remove it. So how do I add Google Meets to here? Well, I can do that by going back to, so I'm going to go ahead and just open up a new tab here to Meet. And I'm going to create a meeting like I had done earlier. I guess I was doing Monday morning meeting. I'm going to continue. It's automatically creating it, which is fine. I'm going to join in real quick so that way I can get this information right here. So I'm going to copy the joining information, and now I'm going to go back to calendar and I can paste it all within the notes, or I can specifically copy the URL link and paste that in for my location. Now when I save it, I can click and just immediately join the Google Meet meeting within Google Classroom. Hopefully this helps. If there are any other confusions or questions, please feel free to contact me, and I would love to create any other videos that would be helpful for teachers and educators during this time.